Hello everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitation in your weight loss and maintenance. Today we're going to continue this series on kitchen items that help me maintain my weight and talk about vitamin D. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, Naturopathic Earth, which probably has like 500 articles and recipes, my podcast, The Awakened Man, and if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. All right, vitamin D is the first of probably 3 pills that I'm going to mention here. Vitamin D is excruciatingly important for overall health of the body, in terms of bone health, in terms of fighting cancer, in terms of maintaining your hormones. And yes, there is a correlation with obesity and weight gain. So most Americans are deficient in vitamin D, along with magnesium, which a future episode. But most Americans are deficient in vitamin D. And there's tons of studies, and you can look this up, how people who are obese have a 35 times more chance to be vitamin D deficient. Now, they don't know if it's correlation or causation, but the large majority of obese people are low in vitamin D. Now, there's a lot of regular weighted people that are likely low in vitamin D too, but they've noticed this. And I've talked about this like with diet sodas, how they've done this study too, that the large majority of people who consume diet sodas are obese. And now you might consume diet sodas and not be obese, but I think it's because it doesn't satiate the sweet tooth, because it's fake, right? Aspartame's fake, or acesulfame potassium, the other sweetener they use, is fake. Either way, vitamin D is important and you should take it. I would say it's one of those, which we'll talk about like with apple cider vinegar and some other things, they're just better for your overall health, but they're also important for weight loss and weight maintenance. So number one, get your blood levels checked. Now, if you go to the doctor, getting tested for vitamin D typically is extra. It's like a $100 test. So I understand why you'd be loath to do that, but I would tell you it's probably recommended. You probably know if you are deficient in vitamin D, simply because the majority of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. Now, vitamin D, one of the ways it can be made, the most, I think, optimal way it's made is by sunlight. So like where I live in Texas, or if you live anywhere that's hot or subequatorial or equatorial, and you just go out for 20 minutes in the summer and you get that summer, you're going to be making enough vitamin D. Now in the winter, that's different up here in the northern hemisphere, and vitamin D isn't made, so you have to find ways to make it. Now, sometimes you can get it from food, so some of the leafy greens, eggs have some source of vitamin D, milk, but milk doesn't really have a lot, and so getting it from your diet is exceedingly hard. People that live in northern climates will have the sun boxes, those boxes that will kind of imitate sunlight. You can get vitamin D from that. I used to have one of those boxes even here when I lived in Texas. But probably the best way to do it is just getting a lot of sunlight. Now, this goes to an episode about sunscreen, how you shouldn't be using sunscreen because it's toxic, but also because it inhibits vitamin D. And if you're going to be out in the sun for 2 hours, I would tell you not even to use vitamin D, because it's not enough sunlight for you to worry about getting the deleterious effects of the ultraviolet. And you need sunlight. Now, in the winter, you're going to have to supplement. So vitamin D pills, a couple things. Get D3, which is the one you can get at the grocery store. D2 is prescribed by doctors, but that is not as biodegradable and bioavailable as D3. In other words, D3 is broken down better. Typically, D3 is broken down better if you take it with calcium as well. So maybe you want to supplement with calcium, or make sure you have calcium in your diet. Again, if you're eating a lot of vegetables, this shouldn't be a problem. Again, I'm not mentioning milk, because milk commercials will tell you that's the only way to get calcium and vitamin D, which of course is just propaganda from the milk commercial, right? Just like breakfast is the most important meal of the day was propaganda from the cereal makers 100 years ago. So you get D3, and D3 is measured by international units, or IUs. So I'll just tell you what I've done, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice, but in the summer, I take 5,000 IU pill every day. And then in the winter, I take 10,000 IU. Now, the daily recommended allowance for vitamin D is significantly lower, But I will tell you from my experience, because again, I'm not a doctor, the RDAs are always very low for these vitamins. And certain vitamins are water soluble, like vitamin C, for example, and B. You pee out what you don't use. Theoretically, because vitamin D is fat soluble, you can have overload of vitamin D. I will tell you though that this is exceedingly rare, and given that the majority of you are vitamin D deficient, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. So in the summer, I take less because I do make a concerted effort through walks or being outside at the pool to get enough vitamin D. But in the winter, you definitely should supplement. And I take 10,000 IU. I'm not telling you to take 10,000 IU. I'm just telling you what I take. So in closing, vitamin D is important for multifunctioning in the body. You're likely low in it. It could be causing you to be obese or hindering your weight loss. So get your blood checked, but if you don't want to get your blood checked, then just do what I just told you and start getting more sun in the summer and supplementing with vitamin D3 pills. And again, this is just one of 1,000 little adjustments you're going to make that will likely benefit you. I mean, it won't not benefit you because most people are deficient, so it can only help you in terms of your systematic improvement to start supplementing with vitamin D and get, again, D3. That's the one you want to get, or get a sunbox if you're up for it, but I would probably supplement with pills. All right, guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.